1973, had finished about 5 years of teaching at a small liberal arts college in southern Ohio, Marietta College. And I had been granted a sabbatical, and my wife and I had made plans to go live for a year in Denmark, mainly because I'd been doing a lot of research on gender roles, and Denmark was a wonderful place to experience where gender role change had occurred much farther along than in US. And I regularly went to conferences, weekend conferences that were training experiential stuff on Gestalt therapy held at Cleveland Gestalt Institute, which was considered one of the two best Gestalt institutes at the time. The first evening, there were no evening events at the conference, I decided I wanted to go to a gay bar, because we were living in a community that was pretty conservative and there weren't any gay bars anywhere near. When I got to the gay bar and sat down at the bar, a man about my age sat down beside me on my left, and he immediately spoke to me with a deep German accent. It turned out he was from Vienna. After we had talked a while about Europe and Vienna and Denmark, he said, I want to tell you what would be happening if we were back in Vienna. There would be a candlestick in front of each of our spaces at the bar. As I got to know you and felt attracted to you, I would reach over and light the candle in front of you. And that's a symbol meaning I want to go to bed with you. And if you were to decide you didn't want that, you would simply reach over and snuff out the candle. So then he went ahead and pretended to light the candle, and I looked at him and said, I'm not snuffing it out. and we went to bed, and I went to his home. We had some wine or something and went to bed and had, which for me was very exciting, sex. My wife and I never hide what's important to us, and I need to tell Sandy. So before I went back to the conference, I got on my phone and called her and said, I need to tell you something that happened last night. And I told her the whole story, and she began sobbing on the phone, and I said, why are you crying? And she said, it's just hard to hear this when you're far away. I wish you'd waited and told me when you were physically at home. So when I got home, part of what happened was that because we were planning this trip to Denmark, Sandy said, here where we're living, I have lots of close friends, other nurses that I can talk with and so on. But once we get to Denmark, you're going to have a teaching job, and you'll get to know people, but I'm going to be pretty much on my own. I can't count on having emotional support. So I want you to make a promise that while we're in Denmark, you will not have sex with any men. And of course, I was a little disappointed, but I promised that and kept it. And it was an incredibly wonderful year for both us and our children. Our kids were 3 when we got there. Sandy knew that I would be exploring the gay world, but that I wouldn't be having sex. And we by then, we were good at making contracts with each other and understanding what things meant to the other person emotionally. While I'm visiting the gay scene in Copenhagen, I'm meeting gay men and of course fantasizing, well, I'll be meeting gay men when I'm back in US. And we were going back to the same area, so I knew I'd be going to Cleveland again and getting to know the scene there, so on. The other aspect is that Sandy knew me well enough by then that she would never have said, "You can't explore." That'd be like saying, "I can't be me," you know. So I knew that she would gradually accept that I was going to explore this.